degrees Leo, with Sun in 21 degrees Sag, Jupiter 15 degrees Gemini retrograde. And as the moon is leaving the fourth lunar mansion, with all the malefic cursing attempts backfiring and ingressing slowly to the fifth lunar mansion, solving our problems, let's talk about the combination of the juristic process and suicide. Let's talk about, and this is a Jupiter hour. It's basically a Luna Jupiter hour with Venus in 6 degrees Aquarius. And I've mentioned that in the Netherlands there is no representation for victims of assault that are not representing also of offenders, which means conflict of interest and lack of trust. I want to discuss the combination of real estate, Mars, financial violence, Mars, and misrepresentation and attacking people who are assaulted when they try, whether it's to litigate or even to speak up. And I want to address that 11 degree Leo. I think it's a good discussion to have how many of those involved have been pushing further for the person that has been victimized by these things for an attempt to commit suicide. And let's take it a notch further. The fact that there is no therapy is going to make that person desire to be more successful in their attempt. What is the role of all these criminals against humanity in pushing people further to end their lives? How many people have terminated their lives, got severely injured by attempts to terminate their lives because of juristic misrepresentation, real estate confiscation, financial violence, character assassination when you attempt to try to speak up and recover or call for help. How many lives have we lost? Perhaps it compounds to a Holocaust already. How many people have to wake up 3-4 times a night because somebody both tried to sexually assault them and tried to cause injustice and frame them? Most assisted death cases in the Netherlands are due to, when it comes to mental causes, having undergone assault. And when we know that the psychiatric pills that you're supposed to receive on the way there are re-traumatizing, that means that the assisted death is not even available. That means you're going to try to do something yourself, right? It also means you better be successful, because the human trade and child trafficking business is quite a lucrative one, and they don't want you dead. They don't want you living either. And even if they want to trade your organs. So that means you're going to try to do that yourself, whatever it takes. What if it takes betrayal? We had in Israel a case of a woman named Sapir. She pretended to be a terrorist, shouted Allah Akbar, and was shot dead. It's very easy. But what if they refreshed the procedure since then? Then you have to do something more serious. Because the alternative is what? Will you kill 100,000 to avoid the death of millions? Well, 2,000 to 100 million Russians died in that war when Stalin said he's going to kill 100,000 to avoid the deaths of millions. Because you see, in those sensitive situations, where you know that assisted death with dignity is not really available, there's a gap formed. And that gap is a gap for recruitment for things. What do we, the people, do about the system that pushes a person only a step farther down? Because it's no longer quality of life to be consistently targeted because you said no to basically political assassination. Say no to sex work is say no to political assassination. That's what they do that for. Is say no to betrayal in the country and its citizens. That's what they train them for. What do we, the people, do about that? before the children in Gaza and the children in Congo, and even the children in 7th of October, and the children in Ukraine, and the children in Russia, there were decades upon decades of unspoken victims, men and women, children and adults, that had no feasible justice whatsoever. And when I say justice, I don't mean punitive. I mean the ability to be safe, to sleep at night without being numerous times attacked with attempts to cause framing, injustice, and rape and confiscation of your assets when I'm talking about welfare. Okay? Let's just put the record straight. This ain't Mar-a-Lago. I'm not living in Mar-a-Lago. I'm not wearing an army. But I gotta defend myself as if I'm sitting on the bomb in Brussels. I ain't no head of NATO nor head of BRICS. All my crimes, I said no to betrayal. I said no to political assassination. I said no to violation of my will and consent. I do not consent. Attacks on the quality of life, the joy of living, and basically the will to live are crimes against humanity. And let me ask you a question. When all humanity complies with that, when it's she's a whore, what was she wearing? Why is she not married? Why is she married? Why is she doesn't have children? Why is she having children? Or he, for that record. Is that surprising that humanity is going extinct in a third world war? When people order talismans and they manifest assisted death? Nobody wants to be the lawyer, the offender, the person that the victim killed themselves and left that note and left his testimony. When it gets to that, nobody wants to be that person, but everybody loves to change the money. Everybody loves to change the money. And they love to exchange opinion. They always got an opinion about the person that wakes up every night to another attack. Now tell me, when the lodges are going to be confiscated and people be sent to the ghettos, where have these lodges been? What were they trading? When it's money time and the body is dead, there ain't no profit. When it's money time and bodies upon bodies are dead, money doesn't change hands. Not for the people that are buried under the ashes of their own demise, because when it was the person that wakes up, and there are billions of targets, there's a galaxy of such people. With no representation. There can only be so many people with no representation before the entire legitimacy of every system since maritime law expires. Because if that system became so much in alignment and so much in cahoots with the pre-social contract Hobbesian situation, then it nullifies. When it's an offender killing themselves in jail, everybody weeps. But have you heard of the galaxy of victims that severely injured themselves, that became even further disabled, and the few lucky ones that actually succeeded to kill themselves without the propaganda system of the very same beta blockers that perpetuate the trauma until death, that have to try again and again. It's the same generic product to get to the holy grail, assisted death.